The tale unfolds in an abandoned area where a guy, Mormont Carl, who works as a mercenary, asks the others if he has any idea where they are. Responding to his query, a man introduces himself as Lyle, disclosing his occupation as a woodshop proprietor from Edora, and apologizes that he doesn't remember why they are here. Following suit, a fat guy chimes in, introduces himself as Grit, and discloses that he works at an antique store in Halcyon. He anxiously adds that he also doesn't know why they are here. A red-haired girl, Jenna, reveals that she lived in a remote forest and expresses her unawareness that she also has no idea what's happening. As another member steps forward and introduces himself as Islat, a farmer by trade, he echoes the sentiments of confusion shared by the rest, as he also doesn't know where they are. Frustrated by the collective lack of awareness, Mormont wonders if all 11 people are saying they don't understand why they are here. Amidst the speculation, one wonders if it is a dream, while the other asks if they get dragged by a magician, perhaps to be experimented on. Mormont sharply rebukes the individual for what he perceives as nonsensical chatter, urging him to focus on the pressing situation. Lyle remarks that the only sure thing is that they all are from Taunir and might be able to figure out an essential clue if they continue conversing with each other. Before they can delve further into their discussion, a cute little fairy with 2 long braids appears out of the blue. With an inquisitive expression, she queries what they are all about, and informs them that Master is about to open a space-time rift, so they must get ready to fight. As the group anxiously wonders about her identity, the fairy introduces herself as Isel, who manages this place, and warns them to stay in line if they don't want to get hurt. Despite her warning, Mormont remains unfazed and frustrated, asking if she is the one who brought them here. When the fairy queries why he wants to know, Mormont abruptly grasps his sword, asking how she can be so shameless after kidnapping people, and warns that he will make her spill it all out. The fairy sighs deeply and warns him to stop acting stupid unless he wants to die. Mormont menacingly brandishes his sword at the fairy, urging that she is talking big for someone that small. In a sudden and shocking turn of events, Mormont impulsively lunges toward Isel, intent on teaching her a lesson. However, before he can carry out his attack, the fairy swiftly and decisively slits his neck, dispatching him with lethal efficiency. The system mentions that Mormont has returned to the embrace of the goddess and that his fighting spirit will be eternally remembered, and mentions that the cause of death is suicide from stress. The sudden turn of events sends shockwaves rippling through the assembled individuals, their expressions reflecting a mixture of disbelief and fear. With a malevolent and suspicious expression, Isel addresses the onlookers, reminding them of her earlier warning to Mormont. She asserts that his death could have been avoided if he heeded her words, emphasizing that she acted in self-defense. With a chilling warning, she declares that anyone who dares to lay a finger on her will meet a similar fate, leaving no room for doubt about her lethal capabilities. As the shock settles among the remaining individuals, they ask what she is doing and request the fairy to use her words if there is something she wants. However, Isel remains resolute and urges them to listen to her orders, fight well and win. That's all she wants. Soon, a party is formed named Heroes Drag and Drop, and the system mentions that 5 people named Lyle, Lanto, Marilyn, Kelkud, and Jackson joined Party 1. Noting that the Master has finally started operating, Isel becomes excited and urges everyone to get ready. With a decisive command, she directs the system to open the space-time rift, and a formidable gate materializes before them, a portal to unknown dangers. With a solemn warning, Isel directs her attention to the 5 members of Party 1, urging them to enter the gate if they wish to avoid meeting the same fate as Mormont. This sudden admonition startles the chosen individuals and instills fear among them. Suddenly, the protagonist, Islat, steps forward to halt the fairy and asserts that he is sure that she also wants to climb the tower. He queries whether the Master could provide them with weapons, noting that they are 1 stars without a primary weapon. He questions whether she genuinely intends to send them into danger ill-equipped, implying the dire consequences akin to leading them into a suicide mission. Meanwhile, the red-haired girl's curiosity is piqued by the mention of a tower, wondering what they are talking about. The protagonist also mentions the recent loss of a valuable 2-star hero, questioning whether she could at least provide them with this consideration. The system showcases the details of Mormont Carl's attributes, revealing him as a level 1 individual with no experience, possessing basic swordsmanship skills. In alignment with Han's proposal, the fairy agrees and communicates to the Master that the heroes are unequipped for battle. She suggests the summoning of equipment to improve their chances and enhance their readiness for impending conflicts. The system provides a crucial tip, informing the heroes that they will enter battle wielding an old iron sword if they lack equipment. Additionally, it suggests that weapons will automatically be equipped if placed in the armory. It emphasizes that Isel can assign weapons, ensuring no hero is unprepared. Meanwhile, a few members approach Han, and Lyle asks him what he knows about this place, to which Han remarks that he doesn't know much either because he hasn't been here long, and adds that the only thing he knows for sure is that they can die if they are too slow. Han points towards a room, advising them that it would be best to grab a weapon from there, asserting that the battle will start soon. As Han turns towards that room to get a weapon, his revelation startles everyone around, sparking anxious speculation about the battle he mentioned. After a while, the Party 1 members get their weapons and sadly head toward the space-time rift. They become startled to see that the corpse of Mormont is gone and speculate if it is done by magic. The fairy urges them to shut up and enter that door. When they hesitate to enter, wondering what that suspicious portal is, she yells at them to stop dilly-daddling and go in already. On the other hand, while the protagonist gazes at a shield, Gina is startled to see him staring at a shield amid all this chaos, wondering if she should take that for herself. Turning to Han, Gina voices her uncertainty about their situation, questioning whether he has any insight into what lies ahead. She queries why they need weapons, adding more questions about where they are now and what's with the fairy. Han Islat remarks that she sure has many questions and simply reveals that they have to go onto the battlefield and kill all the enemies. Regarding her other inquiries, Han leaves Gina to unravel the mysteries alone, implying that she must discover the answers through their journey. Suddenly, Han's attention is diverted to the system's notification that Meriln has returned to the embrace of the goddess and that her fighting spirits will be eternally remembered. Shortly after, the same notification appears for the rest of the 3 members of Part 1. Prompting Han to wonder if this is why they are 1 star. When Jenna asks him what it is and if something happens, he urges her to be quiet. Soon, the notification about the last member of Party 1 was wiped out, mentioning that Party 1 had lost. The fairy's frustration is palpable as she scorns them as bastards because they are wiped out on the first floor. The system mentions 5 other members, including Han, Jenna, Dazzle, Grit, and Gale, who have joined Party 1, and the fairy urges them to come out and get ready. Han informs Jenna that next is their turn, prompting her to wonder why the people who left earlier are not back yet. Meanwhile, an aged man of the newly formed party tells the fairy that he can't walk due to his arthritis, requesting her to leave him out. However, Jenna realizes he is faking, so he reminds the man that he is walking just fine earlier, while the fairy frustratedly considers them idiots. When Jenna notices Han walking towards that suspicious portal, she forcibly drags that aged man along, urging that the man should come and they should try and survive together, while the man seems reluctant. Meanwhile, the other 2 among them wonder what the fairy wants them to prepare for, and the fat member anxiously adds that he has never held a spear before. At the same time, the protagonist determinedly steps inside the portal. As they enter and survey their surroundings, they speculate whether they've entered a temple and notice writing on the wall. The inscription directs them to gather various rare materials, with the system indicating that they are currently on the first floor of their challenge. Shortly after, a screen materializes, emphasizing their mission to ascend the tower and rescue the world. In response, the protagonist takes charge, instructing his party members to prepare themselves as the door to the first floor swings open. With a stern reminder, he urges them not to lose focus or become distracted as they embark on their journey. Shortly after, they find themselves transported to a vast expanse, leaving them to ponder what this place is. Meanwhile, the system mentions to the protagonist that the Floor 1 quest type is subjugation, and they must eliminate all enemies. Soon, the level 3, armed goblin monsters stride toward them. At that moment, the protagonist reminds his team members that he said earlier that they would die if they didn't fight, so now they must get their heads straight. However, as he turns around, he notices that, except for Jenna, 3 group members have run back to save themselves. In a desperate plea, Jenna reminds the older man that he has arthritis, but while rushing, the aged man asserts that it just got better. The system alerts that Dazzle, Jenna, Grit, and Gale are gripped by fear, resulting in a 30% decrease in their stats. However, to their surprise, all the coward members are halted by colliding with an invisible wall, which startles them all. While they desperately bang on the wall to break it, Han considers their action as an absolute shicho. Attempting to overcome her fear, Jenna asks Han whether they can leave if they defeat these goblins. Han agrees and asks if she knows how to shoot a bow, to which Jenna reveals that her father was a hunter. Han then assured her he would fight up close while she shot from the back, asking if she could do that. Jenna agrees with Han's strategy and questions about the rest of the members, to which Han advises her not to pay them any mind and refers to them as useless pieces of shit. As the horde of goblin monsters charges menacingly toward them, the protagonist contemplates the truth that he has never wielded a sword or a shield before. Despite being known as Han Islat, his real name is Han Seojin, and he thinks he ended up being sucked into a shitty-ass ring game. Han steels himself with unwavering resolve despite his uncertainty and turmoil and confronts the oncoming threat head-on. Pick Me Up is a mobile game made by Mobius, and the goal is to get to the 100th floor of the tower. The player can create materials to fortify and support their hero and use strategy and tactics to clear the tower. Until yesterday, Han Seojin lived an ordinary life. While playing the game, he received a notification announcing that Pick Me Up had achieved an impressive milestone of 1 million downloads. The message attributed this success to the widespread support from masters worldwide, prompting the announcement of a special event to celebrate this achievement. The event details revealed enticing rewards for players, with logging in from January 27 to February 5 granting 100 gems daily, offering a potential total of up to 1,000 gems. Additionally, masters who logged in during this period received a high-rank hero summon card, ensuring the acquisition of powerful heroes rated 3 stars or higher. Furthermore, the Transcendental Advent Dungeon was unlocked, promising new challenges and opportunities for adventure. Han wondered about the Transcendental event and remarked that a shitty inflated game finally got a proper event. As Han contemplated the game's mechanics, he reflected on the varying star ratings assigned to heroes, ranging from 1 to 7 stars. Despite his extensive efforts, he lamented his abysmal luck, noting how, even after numerous paid pulls, he never acquired a hero rated higher than 5 stars. This starkly contrasted the seemingly fortunate outcomes experienced by others who utilized the game's system. However, Han's attention was drawn to a particular dungeon, boasting a low drop rate of the coveted Book of Reserval, a rare item capable of elevating heroes to 7-star status. Despite the daunting odds, he saw no reason not to partake in the challenge. Han acknowledged that Pick Me Up differed from similar games with hardcore rules. Even heroes in which players invested considerable resources could not be revived if they died once. With a strategic mindset, Han considers that whether it was a 1-star or 6-star, it was over if they died a single time. Therefore, he sent a recon team of characters he didn't care about first in the dungeon to scout things out. As Han received the notification that the Advent Dungeon had opened and all his characters were gripped by fear, resulting in a 30% reduction in their stats, he couldn't help but wonder why they were so terrified. Nonetheless, he remained resolute, recognizing the importance of studying the boss's patterns and shape. Suddenly, a level 999 enemy materialized out of nowhere and killed all his party members, prompting Han to contemplate if it was a bug. As the system mentioned his loss, he considered it an obvious system error, as all his characters in the party had been killed before he even saw the boss's patterns, and he got nothing out of it. However, Han's unease deepened when the level 999 creature gave a malicious grin and fixed its gaze on him through the phone screen, declaring that it had found him. This startled Han as he saw a pattern and contemplated that the game should logically be over by now based on the overwhelming defeat he just experienced. Suddenly, Han couldn't see anything, and the game system notified him of the formation of an account and asked him to choose his name, prompting him to wonder what it was. The system then suggested choosing the name Enitn, and Han wondered if it was a short form of anything. Despite his reluctance to select the yes option, the system decided independently, catching Han off guard as he hadn't confirmed it yet. The system welcomed him by the name of Enitn to the world of Pick Me Up. It then inquired if he should start the tutorial, proposing that he would receive a predetermined reward on completion. Soon, the tutorial started, and Han found himself in an anonymous ruined area with a sword in his hand, where the building was covered with fire. The system mentioned that in a small town in the Harem province, there was a boy named Han Islat. Townia is where humans live alongside other species, and an unknown enemy invades that peaceful land. The system asserts that Han should climb the tower if he wishes to save the world and reveals that many heroes will join him. Soon, the tutorial quest swiftly presented Han with the task of confronting the invading goblins in the town. As he turned around, he was startled to find armed goblins looming ahead, which caught him off guard, but he didn't need a long time to accept the reality. As the monster lunged to attack, Han barely managed to deflect the assault with his sword. Fueled by a newfound determination, he launched a counterattack, ultimately eliminating the creature. Despite his success, Han grappled with conflicting emotions as he struggled to comprehend the sensation of taking another organism's life. With that, the stage was cleared, and he stepped ahead, wondering if he was inside a game. To his surprise, he encountered a scene reminiscent of the pick-me-up game, leaving him startled. Suddenly, a message from the system appeared, asking if he wished to summon a comrade before proceeding to the next stage. The system commanded him to navigate to the Summon tab in the menu, revealing that the first summon was free and that 500 gems for a high-rank summon had been provided, prompting Han to wonder what was happening. However, before he could fully comprehend the circumstances, a door opened and a character comrade materialized before him. The system promptly notified Han that Master Enneting had received a 4-star hero named Shay, leaving him bewildered and intrigued by the unexpected development. Han anxiously contemplated the summons and wondered if he would get summoned like that from a pick-me-up player summon. Shay then asked Han if he had summoned her and inquired who he was. Han Xiaojin introduced himself, and she revealed that she was Shay Lathastri, a knight, and the system displayed her attributes. The system then allowed Han to form a party with heroes, instructing him to drag Shay to the party slot to create his own party. Following the system's guidance, Master Enneting made Han and Shay join a party, and they were again sent to the dungeon. Swiftly dispatching the goblins, Shay remarked on Han's apparent lack of skill, prompting him to admit that it was his first time. Han Xiaojin contemplated that unlike himself, who had never held a sword before, the 4-star Shay effortlessly took down the goblins with remarkable skill and speed. The stage was cleared, and the rewards had been given to Shay. Han acknowledged the stat difference between them since Shay was 3 stars higher than him, and he had no complaints, but the problem started from there. The system informed the master that his heroes fought well, and the final tutorial stage awaited them, which was to enhance heroes through synthesis. As the final tutorial stage door opened, Han remarked that he was fucked up. Soon, the fairy materialized, urging them to head inside the door, emphasizing that the master awaited. When Han recognized her and called her by the name Isel, it startled the fairy, who wondered how he knew her name. The protagonist said he knew because he was a pick-me-up user and introduced himself to her. The fairy was startled to learn his name, Han Xiaojin, not Islat Han, so she abruptly checked the data and realized that Han Xiaojin didn't even look like the Taunya Haim Islat Han. Meanwhile, Han asserted that he was Han Xiaojin from Seoul and urged her to send him back while he was still being nice. Isel then asked if he was from Earth, and when Han concurred. Isel then asked if he was from Earth, to which Han confirmed. This revelation left Isel visibly distressed, and she exclaimed in frustration, questioning what had happened, asserting that she would go crazy. She then urged him to head inside, but the protagonist expressed reluctance, voicing his concerns about the potential outcome of entering the arena, fearing imminent death. Despite his apprehensions, the fairy assured him he wouldn't meet his demise, emphasizing that he would undergo synthesis. Despite Han's continued reluctance, she forcefully propelled him into the arena, the final stage of the tutorial. As he stepped inside, the synthesis process began, catching him off guard. It combined heroes, sacrificing one to enhance the other. Han realized the grim truth that one of them would be consumed in the process. Contemplating his predicament, he acknowledged his status as a lowly 1-star hero compared to Shay's prestigious 4-star rank. He reflected on the absurdity of a typical player sacrificing a valuable hero like Shay. He considered that a normal player would have 0 reasons to kill off Shay and leave him. He struggled with the thought of his impending demise during the synthesis process, wondering who would add a 4-star hero to 1 star like him. However, to his surprise, as the synthesis process was complete, he became stronger, while Shay became light and started disappearing. He anxiously asked why she was fading and asserted that it made no sense as she was a 4-star and he was a 1-star. Shay cryptically responded that she wasn't chosen, leaving Han bewildered by her enigmatic words. With a grin, Shay asserted she would leave it to him, and soon after, she disappeared, which startled Han as he couldn't comprehend what was happening. In the present moment, cowardly Greed falls victim to the goblin monster's attack, while Gina desperately tries to rescue the other fearful members of their party. In contrast, the protagonist bravely faces off against the monsters, contemplating his own chances of survival. He acknowledges the mechanics of synthesizing heroes, realizing it's a simple drag and drop function to sacrifice one hero for another. With determination, he eliminates the monster, pondering whether the master's error or reckless gameplay led to Shay's demise. He assassinates the monster, asserting that either the master made a mistake in dragging, or he is playing without thinking things through. After dispatching the monsters, he reflects that he was lucky, and Shay died because the master was stupid. That's why he considers this a shit game. He then turns his attention to Jenna and asks about the other two goblins, to which she responds that she killed one of them, but suddenly, the other goblin attacks Han and bites his shoulder. He angrily turns around, thinking he doesn't know how he was summoned inside Pick Me Up, but he knows one thing. He got summoned as a one-star hero Han Islat. He then reflects that right before coming over to this world, a level 999 bugged monster looked at him and laughed. Han concludes that it must have been that thing that dragged him into this game. With determination in his eyes, he asserts that the bug picked the wrong person to mess with and swiftly dispatches the goblin monster with a decisive strike of his sword. After the battle subsides, Han finds himself grievously wounded, having lost an arm in the skirmish. Jenna expresses concern for his well-being, but Han reassures her that he will be fine once they return. Reflecting on the nature of the game, Han acknowledges the lack of player control during combat, as most of the battles seem to unfold automatically. Despite this, Pick Me Up boasts an impressive 1 million downloads worldwide, indicating its popularity. Han muses on the game's appeal, recognizing that players can observe the world of Pick Me Up as if they were gods themselves. Gazing up at the sky, Han directs his thoughts to the master, questioning whether he enjoys orchestrating the game's events. Despite the challenges and frustrations inherent in the game, Han reminisces about the aspects he once enjoyed as a player, such as item crafting, strategic tactics, and hero ascension with hidden features. He concludes that even if the game is flawed, it's worth persevering and not giving up. He was the 5th place ranker Loki, a master of masters, and with a renewed determination, he challenges the other masters to witness his survival until the end. Jenna's star level increases upon the successful completion of the stage, earning her rewards. However, Han is recognized as the most valuable player for outstanding performance. Out of the 10 players who entered the dungeon, only Islat Han and Jenna emerge alive, with the others falling victim to the goblin onslaught. The protagonist accepts the situation, realizing that whining is for children, and he won't complain anymore. While training himself, Han acknowledges that this is the world of Pick Me Up, and he was summoned as a one-star hero from birth. In this realm, a hero can die in 2 ways, in a battle or by being compounded. He contemplates that he is only a 1-star and considers it meaningless to be a 1-star hero in this game, as 1-star players are disposable, and the lowest quality ones too. Their basic stats are pathetic and their growth rate is low too, and he thinks that at this rate he won't be able to escape the danger of being compounded. The system displays his attributes, level 5 with 44 out of 50 experience points, along with other stats, noting that he lacks any unique skills. Taking note of his attributes, he intensifies his training, understanding the urgent need to become stronger. He reminds himself of his ultimate goals: survival, revenge, and returning to his world. He recognizes that achieving these objectives is impossible without increasing his strength, so he pushes himself to train harder. Uncertain of how events will unfold, he understands that failure to improve his abilities will result in his demise, and his inability to accept the harsh reality of his situation will lead to his consumption. As he focuses on enhancing his agility through rigorous training, he draws parallels between his current circumstances and his experiences in the military. He trains harder, acknowledging that it's not just physical strength that he needs to improve, he also needs to become mentally stronger. Recognizing that an unstable mentality won't suffice for survival in this place, he dedicates himself to various exercises. Reflecting on his upbringing without parental protection, he realizes he thrived amidst tension and adversity. While he is doing push-ups, Jenna approaches him, wondering what he is doing, to which Han remarks that he is training to kill monsters and asks why. Jenna wondered why his tone was so harsh and revealed she was looking for him. She grasps her bow and arrow, telling Han that she thought about it all night, what to do from now on, and asks if they can't get out of there. She then discloses that her father was a hunter, so archery was her hobby. With determination, she aims at a target with her bow and arrow, assuring him that she won't be a burden to him. She realizes the arrow, stating that she doesn't think anything will change by whining and crying. Her arrow hits the target, prompting Han to wonder if she knows how to survive, and he asks if yesterday was the first time she had to fight in real life. Jenna concurs and reveals that she has always preferred to stay home, and when the protagonist asks how good she is with a bow and arrow, she remarks that it is so-so. Unbeknownst to her, Han views her attributes window, discovering that Jenna's Surai is at level 2, possessing 5 out of 20 experience points. With other attributes, her unique skill is low-rank archery. Han guesses that she got 4 points in stats from yesterday and notes that she is lower than him in stats, but she has her unique skill. He contemplates that even if she wasn't that good because it was her first time fighting, she still managed to kill a goblin. Moreover, Han observes Jenna's ability to swiftly adapt to the harsh realities of their situation, displaying a resilience that allows her to move forward in the face of adversity. He admires her clarity of purpose and determination, recognizing her as a valuable asset despite her inexperience. Viewing her as a hidden gem with untapped potential, Han agrees to lend her his support, acknowledging her as a promising ally in their struggle for survival. With a determined glint, Jenna reaches out her hand toward Han, recalling her father's valuable lesson about the significance of connections in life. As their hands meet in a firm handshake, she expresses her anticipation of working alongside him as a teammate. Meanwhile, the system alerts Han to Jenna's positive feelings towards him, announcing the creation of an intimacy bonus. It provides tips on leveraging this bonus for stat enhancements when forming a party with another hero, encouraging him to make the most of it. Despite the potential benefits, Han finds the constant appearance of message windows from the system somewhat bothersome. Later, the protagonist calls out the fairy Isel aloud, asking if she is here. Isel materializes and frustratedly yells that she is busy, prompting Han to comment on her swift appearance despite her supposed busyness. She asserts that she will not answer anything, no matter how many times he asks, and urges him to make his way up to the tower if they are curious, emphasizing that the answer is in the tower. Han then asks if he is the only one who can see the stats window above her head. Isel is startled by his question, anxiously tries to maintain her demeanor, and remarks she doesn't know what he is talking about. Han then reveals that it says 257 level right there, and Isel wonders if he can see this. He adds that it is because something got mixed up and unconsciously adds that Han sure did some irritating thing but soon realizes what she is saying. Isel's reaction makes Han certain he is the only one who can see the game's and master's forged messages. He then questions Isel about what would happen if the master quits, to which the fairy responds with bewilderment, asking about the master. She urges Han to pray that the master doesn't quit. Han reflects on the unusual situation of being compounded with Shay, considering it more than just a regular mistake, but a significant error by the master. He calculates the slim odds of summoning a 4-star hero, which he estimates to be around 1% with paid summoning, and believes that the master squandered that luck on this mistake. He thinks that Pick Me Up is interlocked with the phone, so it can't even be restarted, and he contemplates that the last time he went on it a week after the first time. He then asks Isel if the time here is different from Earth's, which annoys her, and she angrily reminds him that she already told him not to ask her any questions and asserts that she will not answer them. Han discerns that the time is different and sarcastically thanks her for the tip, mocking her for keeping it up. Isel frustratedly twirls her braids and refers to Han as a little 1-star trash, while the protagonist knows that the fairy can't do anything to him. She can only interfere in self-defense cases and when the master's orders have been disobeyed. He resolves to figure out the rules one by one like this and will be eliminated if he can't adapt. That's how this world works. Jenna then approached Han, asking what they were talking about, and Han explained that they had to go through this tower with 100 stages. He adds that somebody called Master can give orders through Isel, and they must complete the missions he provides. He adds that they will probably be able to get out of there once they get to the 100th stage. Jenna curiously asks if they have to fight many monsters, to which Han confirms, explaining that's why he is training and has to get stronger. When she inquires if it will be just the two of them, Han clarifies that Master can summon other individuals and more people will likely continue to be summoned as they progress. Han acknowledges that his life hangs on his choices from now on, although ultimately their lives are in the hands of his master. After completing a training day, Han discovered an interesting rule of this world. Daily necessities and food are refilled the next day. If one imagines something they want, it appears in the drawers or the closet. However, guns and similar things don't work. He observes that his training results are so different that he can now understand something he doesn't know while playing pick-me-up. Occasionally, heroes have different combat powers than others despite being on the same rank, and they have one thing in common. They are not lazy with their training. He comprehends that training doesn't directly boost stats or levels, but hones skill learning and overall proficiency. Reflecting on this revelation, Han realizes that he didn't grasp this initially, but upon contemplation, he doubts that they were artificial intelligence. The astute master will soon categorize the main heroes into three groups. Firstly, based on mentality, as the master has no tolerance for heroes prone to panic. Secondly, based on skills, high-ranking heroes are summoned with their skills already acquired, whereas the talents of low-ranking heroes are concealed, necessitating active searching by the master. The third is physical capability, which Han is trying to improve. On the third day of training, as the master logged in, Han viewed his attributes window and reached level 5. Along with strength, intelligence, stamina, and agility, he has received 2 unique skills: low-rank swordsmanship level 1 and low-rank shield techniques. Han becomes determined that he has acquired 2 skills from training and has done all he could. He then informs Jenna that Master's here, which startles Jenna, prompting her to express surprise with a question. Already? Curious about her reaction, Han asks what she means by already and reminds her that it's been 3 days. Just then, Han received a notification indicating that the Master had initiated the summoning process. He informs Jenna that the Master is summoning new heroes, explaining that a party can accommodate 5 people, so the Master will likely summon 3 more heroes to join them. The Master summons 3 more heroes named Eren, Toby, and Yelsens, who seem unaware of what's happening and where they are. Isel then appears and opens crack of space and time, prompting Han to urge Jenna to get a weapon before it's too late. The system displays a tip that heroes without weapons will enter the battle with an old iron sword, and one will equip a weapon if they place the weapon in the weapon storage, and one can also choose which weapon will be held by others. Noting the new players of the party, Han contemplates that he doesn't have any weapons to give them because the guys from last time were all killed. Meanwhile, Isel urges the new members to enter the portal while they yell at her. One of them implores her to send them back, while the other guy questions her identity and origin skeptically. Amidst the escalating tension, Jenna intervenes to prevent the dark-toned guy from antagonizing Isel further, much to his ire. He accuses Jenna of taking Isel's side and asks if she had any involvement in bringing them to this place. Jenna swiftly rebuffs his accusations, clarifying that she also involuntarily got here. Meanwhile, Han, making his way toward the portal, asks Jenna that it's not an appropriate time to explain it right now, asserting that the guy will figure it out in a few minutes. As the newcomers continue to yell at Isel, one states that his wife is waiting to take him back right now, while the other says he is a poor farmer and doesn't have money. Jenna accompanies Han towards the portal, expresses concerns about those people, and asks Han if those people will die, to which Han remarks that he needs not to bother Isel. Meanwhile, Isel takes matters into her own hands, teaching 2 newcomers a stern lesson while the third offers her a heartfelt apology. Eventually, they all reluctantly enter the crack of space and time. With a smile, Isel bids them farewell, urging them to enjoy their journey ahead. On floor 2, the duty type is conquest, and the goal is to kill all the enemies. Soon, the party members are teleported to floor 2, and while the other 3 members are bewildered, Han asks Jenna if she is ready, and she determinedly concurs. On this floor, the enemies are level 3 goblins and Prairie Wolf, level 4, which catches Eren, Toby, and Yelsens and decreases their stats by 30%. Han realizes that Jenna is in a state of fear too, and her stats have also reduced by 30%, so he teases her with a few and asks if she is scared too. His action scares her even more, and she anxiously admonishes him not to scare her like that. Han then assigns her to take the 2 goblins while he takes care of the wolves. Han then notices that the newbies are no help, so he doesn't care about them. Shortly after, as the monsters advance towards him, he stands his ground, ready to face them head-on. With determination, he stabs one of the wolves who leaps to attack him. However, he realizes that it's not dead, speculating that it must be because of the weapon shit. Despite this setback, he remains vigilant and manages to land a decisive blow on one of the wolves, taking it down with a swift strike of his sword. The protagonist swiftly dispatches the remaining wolves, deftly using his shield to evade their attacks before delivering decisive blows to defeat them all. After overpowering the wolves, he turns his attention to the goblins, whom Jenna's archery skills have killed. He sarcastically remarks that she has turned them into pincushions with her accurate shots. With that, the stage is cleared, and it levels up both of them. Han is selected as MVP, and they receive 5,000 grams of gold, iron ore, and leather. Soon, all 5 of them are transported back, and the system congratulates them on clearing the second floor. However, as they return from the crack of space and time, they are suddenly teleported to the 3rd floor, which bewilders Jenna. Han informs her that it's the same as when they went to the 2nd floor. Now they are being sent to the 3rd floor. Han contemplates that if they have a reckless master, they might push them directly into the 3rd floor, but he wonders what would happen if that occurred now. However, he exhales a sigh of relief when he is notified that the master has logged out. He then sees Isel yawning, stating that she is tired. He asserts that they are the ones who were at it, which is why she is tired. Gazing at a portal gate, Han wonders if it is 1 floor per day and contemplates that if the time here is 3 times as slow as the waiting room, they should be logging in again in 3 days. Later, Han viewed his attribute window and noted that he had reached level 6, with 13 out of 50 experience points. Furthermore, he notices that his intelligence has decreased by 1, but his strength has increased by 2, and his general stat growth is still 4 points. However, his leveling efficiency has increased, which is probably proof that his physique is improving. He then contemplates that the master isn't rushing for progress either, and if he had stuck with how he was on the 1st floor, it would have been dangerous for everyone. Han's attention is then diverted to the newbies yelling at Jenna, questioning why they need to fight and demanding to know where they are and what those monsters are. Han contemplates that 1-stars are regular people who have lived far away from the battlefield. Han overhears Jenna, who attempts to persuade those newcomers, stating that they need to fight to survive, and emphasizes that they can leave for later, to which the dark-toned guy asserts how she expects him to fight monsters when he has never touched a weapon in his life, to which Jenna retorts if he thinks any of them has fought before. Han thinks he knows now why 1-stars are called trash, considering that the 2-star Mormont said he was a mercenary, and wonders if that means more combat-focused professions get summoned at higher star levels. According to Han, high-class mercenaries don't panic at the drop of a hat, and if the master throws freshly summoned 1-star mercenaries into a battle, they will go into fear or panic status 100% of the time. However, that's not the case with 3 stars and up, as they will jump straight into battle. He wonders if they were summoned with prior knowledge, or if they know their objective and why they need to fight. Reflecting on Shay's demeanor, Han speculates that she may have been aware of their mission. Gina then approaches Han, saying that those newbies are impossible, and asks if he can help her. However, Han asks why he would bother with useless trash like them, to which Jenna remarks that both of them should coax the newbies forward and make them their teammates, asserting that it's better than nothing. He adds that they will disappear soon and emphasizes that she will see. He clarifies that it's not that they will be killed in battle, but if they stay like that, they will disappear. Han advises Jenna that he and she will fight together in the next war, suggesting she should forget those guys. Shortly after, the dark-toned guy approaches them, stating that he wants to ask them something. However, Han ignores him by turning his face aside, saying the guy should keep his thoughts to himself as they are bothersome. His response infuriates the guy, who ferociously grasps Han's should, asking what he said. However, Han remains unfazed and smacks the dark-toned guy's face, prompting him to tumble on the ground. Asserting his dominance, the protagonist refers to the new members as bastards, saying that these bastards were hopping around in the back while they were losing blood out there. He then turned around and told Jenna that he did as she wanted, and Jenna responded with a gentle smile. The training continued the next day, and after basic exercise, Jenna and Han went into weapons training. Han and Jenna focus on honing their skills, with Han practicing with a wooden sword and Jenna refining her archery. Han's unique skills of beginner swordsmanship and beginner shield proficiency advanced to level 2 through training. This exercise enhances his unique skills of beginner swordsmanship and beginner shield proficiency to level 2. While they were engrossed in training, the other 3 members didn't come to the training grounds because they went around looking for the exit and said they would leave this place, but there was no exit. On the other hand, Han and Jenna continue their training regimen, with Jenna aiming his arrow at Han while he deflects them to enhance their skills. Suddenly, an arrow stabs Han's leg, though painful, yet Han manages to take it out, prompting Jenna to be worried about his well-being. Han reminds her that he already told her she must not worry about him and urges her to stop thinking that the natural laws here are the same as where she is from. He explains that wounds heal quickly here, demonstrated by his rapid recovery from the injury. In response to the pain, the system notifies Han that he has acquired the skill of pain resistance. Nevertheless, Han persists in training, viewing pain as a testament to his vitality and proof of his existence. He remains determined to continue improving himself, undeterred by his challenges. The system mentions that Han's beginner swordsmanship and beginner shield proficiency have synthesized into a new skill, and he has obtained beginner sword and shield proficiency. The next day in the pick-me-up realm, Isel sternly commands those 3 guys to come to the square when the master arrives. Meanwhile, Jenna expresses her determination, stating that constant training has left her eager for a chance to prove herself. Han remarks on her apparent adaptability, saying that it feels like she is adapting faster than he is, to which Jenna notes that she is made of tough stuff. In contrast, the dark-toned guy and the farmer direct their frustration towards Isel, urging her not to send them to fight again. The dark-toned guy asks if she will make them fight again, and he insists that he doesn't want to. Their disrespectful demeanor triggers the fairy's wrath, leading her to administer a stern punishment. After the beatdown, she insists they proceed into the arena. Despite their bruised faces, the 3 guys reluctantly comply with her command. On the 3rd floor, the quest type is subjugation, and their goal is to eliminate all enemies. Han assures Jenna that clearing the floor won't be difficult with their improved gear and tactics. Encouraging her to fight as they trained, they determinedly tackled the challenge. After successfully clearing the stage, Jenna levels up, and is recognized as the most valuable player on the floor. She receives a reward of 7,000 grams of gold, iron ore, and leather. Jenna remarks that she thinks she is getting the hang of it now, to which Han concurs and mentions that it was a bit boring this time. Standing aside, Jenna gazes at those 3 team members, telling Han those guys still don't plan to fight. Han uninterestingly remarks that it doesn't matter and adds that he doesn't want to split experience points with guys like them. He adds that if they don't participate in a battle, they won't get experience points. Han notices the message window of the master, which notifies a tip that when dealing with disobedient heroes, try spinning the wheel of fortune, and they will become better behaved. Han notices that the master is again selecting the floor, which is one challenge for them, speculating that the master intends to spin the wheel of fortune. Out of nowhere, the master sent the party members to floor 1 again. Soon, they all are transported to floor 1 quest type subjugation, and the objective is to eliminate all enemies. Jenna effortlessly kills most of the monsters and is selected as a valuable player. However, the master sends them to fight repeatedly without letting them rest, which exhausts Han and Jenna. After clearing those stages, they are transported back to the tower, and while stepping out of the crack, Jenna asserts that it's driving her up the wall, wondering how long they have to take care of those useless members. Han assures her not to worry, emphasizing that it will be over today, prompting Jenna to wonder what he means by that. She asks if they don't look like they will change their ways. The protagonist remarks that he doesn't think the master is so well off that they can afford to keep good for nothing. Suddenly, the master opens the synthesis chamber, causing the useless members to be bewildered and wonder what it is. The master selects the heroes for the drag and drop, in which one will be sacrificed while the other will be synthesized, and the sacrificed hero will cease to exist. Meanwhile, Han bids farewell to the idiots with a suspicious expression, noting that they can't even grab an opportunity when it's handed to them. Han contemplates that various chances are given to those useless members. Even if the small stuff is not shown on the screen, the master shouldn't be clueless about the whole thing. He considers that they should know who fights on the front lines, who plays an active part, and who lazes. Isel then commands Jenna and Yelsens to go into the synthesizing room, which startles them, but Han assures Jenna to go on as nothing will happen to her. Yelsens anxiously asks what will happen if they go in there, to which Han remarks that he will be judged for what they have done. Isel reluctantly agrees with Han's statement, and their remark infuriates Yelsens. He yells that he has done nothing and has been dragged for no reason. Han asserts what Yelsens wants him to do and says that it would have been different if they had at least pretended to fight, which increases Yelsens' tension. Later, despite the reluctance, Yelsen heads inside the chamber, and as the synthesis begins, he is sacrificed while Jenna levels up and acquires the skill of Hawkeye. However, Jenna has no idea what happened and wonders why that guy turned into light and disappeared. Han informs her that in this chamber, those who are useless die as sacrifices. With a solemn expression, Han announces that it's his turn to enter the chamber and asks the remaining 2 members which one of them will be, which catches them off guard. Isel then sternly commands Han and the dark-toned guy Toby to be next, which catches him off guard. Toby's initial reaction is nervous laughter, as he jokingly remarks about going home, though his tone displays his anxiety, while Han tells him to think of it that way. Soon, as the synthesis process begins, Toby is engulfed in light and disappears, leaving Han to level up and gain composure skills. Emerging from the chamber, Han passes by the remaining guy, casually remarking on his luck, leaving the bewildered member to ponder his fate. Jenna realizes one will disappear in that chamber if the master thinks they are useless. Han asks why she is sad, emphasizing that she is the one who doesn't wish to be left behind. Jenna tremblingly asks whether that will happen to her one day if she becomes useless. Han acknowledges the harsh reality they face, explaining that they will encounter stronger foes and allies as they progress, and some may not survive the challenges ahead. Jenna's sadness is palpable as she remarks on the harsh reality of their situation, acknowledging Han's apparent knowledge of their circumstances. Han suggests that to survive, she should heed her father's wisdom and align herself with those who possess strength. On the second day, in the training ground, Jenna bows in front of the protagonist, requesting to take good care of her, prompting Han to wonder if something had happened to her. She reminds him that he told her to get close to those who are strong so she will be more comparable to them, and requests him to take care of her. Han finds it unbelievable and remarks that she will not die if she is diligent, so she doesn't worry too much. Soon, the third guy, Eren, one of their team members, approaches them and apologizes, admitting that he is stupid and is only causing trouble. Eren adds that no matter what happens, leaving them alone to fight is a cowardly move, and now he assures them that he will be different. Han inquires how they are supposed to trust him, to which the guy remarks that if they want, he can even go down on his knees for them. Jenna comments that it seems like the guy has finally got himself together. Han hurls a spear towards Eren, asking if he has ever fought a monster, asserting that he has also never fought with one before coming. Eren catches the spear, acknowledging that Han is so good at it. Han remarks that there is a difference in resolution, the resolve to win a fight and survive. Han asserts that he is not an expert, but he has heard that it's the most accessible weapon. He then asks the guy to prepare to fight, which catches the guy off guard, and he asks if he will teach him. Han lunges toward Eren at his full pace, asking why he is asking him to teach him when he has never used a spear, and emphasizes that he has learned how to fight by himself, so Eren must learn by himself too. Eren hardly manages to deflect his attacks, while Han asserts that Eren must be thankful to have an opponent to spar with, even though he only had scarecrows as opponents. Sensing the danger, as Eren nervously closes his eyes to counterattack, Han swiftly kicks him aside, mocking his lack of focus in battle. Eren begins to vomit, overwhelmed by the experience. Han chastises him, remarking they are not risking their lives, yet Eren cannot handle the pressure. He asserts that if Eren were facing an absolute monster, he would have died already. Gina becomes concerned and asks if Han is being too harsh for Eren's first time, to which the protagonist remarks that he doesn't want to care for someone else and asserts he will leave her behind if she can't keep up. Han then asks if Eren has a family, to which the guy tremblingly asks that he has a little sister waiting for him. Han acknowledges this, contrasting it with his situation of having nobody. He then holds his sword at Eren's neck, asking what will happen if Eren can't return home, emphasizing the agony of dying to a monster or being synthesized. Han asserts that he should give up if Eren is unwilling to continue. He sarcastically grins, noting that the spark in Eren's eyes looks better than before. Later, the master upgrades the forge, which is the annex of the armory, using 500 gems, and Han notices that he has unlocked free roam now that the forge is open. Han calls out for Isel to come out, to which she appears, reprimanding Han if he thinks he can call her whenever he pleases, to which the protagonist remarks that he is getting bored of that repertoire, suggesting she should try to change. Isel expresses her frustration, but Han remains unfazed and asks if she is sending tips to the master and if she can go on the internet, reasoning that she should be able to go on it if she can interfere with the system. Isel agrees, admitting that she can access the internet and revealing that her hobby is surfing around the web. Han responds that the tips she is sending are being used as a base, and after summoning equipment 10 times, unlock a level of the training facility and then open the forge. Surprised by his response, Isel asks how he knows that, to which Han remarks that it's a popular post on the Pick Me Up site, asking if she knows the one that Loki posted. When the fairy asks if he knows Loki, Han confidently responds affirmatively, stating that Loki is a user of Pick Me Up. Isel sarcastically says that Han was probably just one who stayed on the lower stages, and she praises Mr. Loki as the master of masters and refers to him as the god of Pick Me Up. Isel blushes as she talks about Loki, expressing admiration for him and mentioning that he would be the first in the world if he had a 7-star rating. Intrigued, Han asks why she likes Loki so much, prompting Isel to explain that he's the one who made the impossible possible in the game. Han grins mischievously at her words, but Isel teases him, suggesting he doesn't even know about his past as a pick-me-up user. As Isel excitedly turns around to think about Loki, Han apologizes for breaking the news, which grabs her attention. Han then reveals the surprising truth that he is Loki. Isel asks what he is talking about as she thinks he is joking and sarcastically remarks, "What kind of bluff is that?" Han reveals Loki's account number, which is 46,631,913, and adds that due to the risk of hackers, the pick-me-up hackers, the pick-me-up account number is known only to the master himself and the server officials. He tells her to check it out herself, and if he doesn't believe him, she asks if he wants him to tell her the Google account. As Isel doesn't believe him, she checks it on his system, stating that it doesn't make any sense. But after confirmation, she becomes super excited and requests him for an autograph. Isel enthusiastically embraces the revelation, revealing her VIP status as a member of Ragna Loki and urging Han to join her in celebrating this newfound connection. While giving an autograph, Han asks what Ragna Loki is. Isel reveals it's a fan cafe dedicated to the Master of Masters Loki. Han teases her about being cheeky, considering he's only a 1-star, implying her enthusiasm might be excessive. Anxiously, Isel wonders what will happen to Niflheim without Loki, which Han also ponders. Niflheim is the name of the waiting room in his account, which has 13 floors and a capacity of 20,000 people. Most facilities are the best for infrastructure at levels 18-22. He wonders the point when he, the actual master, is here. Isel then anxiously asks what will happen to the 20,000 troops, to which Han remarks that if she is that worried about it, why won't she send him back? However, she sadly informs him that she can't do it, but Han states that he knows, revealing that he already knows that she is just an intermediary manager who does odd jobs. He then asks if the owner of this waiting room, Eniton, is a human from Earth, and the summoned heroes aren't AI either. Isel agrees, stating that this affiliated world is slightly different, but they are all people. However, Master Enning doesn't know that they are living humans because the Master is just a user who genuinely enjoys playing pick-me-up, while the heroes have all sorts of crises for the sake of their amusement. The protagonist then asks if he can return to Earth if he climbs the tower to the 100th floor. When the fairy states that she doesn't know, Han then asks another question about who brought him here, to which Isel remarks that she can't answer that and then apologizes. However, Han states that it's okay, reminding them that, as she said, he will find out when he climbs the tower. Moving on to the next question, Han inquires how much of the Master's authority she can access. Isel remarks that she is giving advice, opening and closing facilities, and assisting with autonomous activities. Han then asks if the waiting rooms for the other Masters are the same as this one, to which Isel responds that each one is slightly different, but as a whole, they are the same. He then wonders if 100 million of these worlds exist, questioning the validity of Mobius Summon. The system, which created a limitless number of heroes by mixing thousands of patterns, was a complete lie. He realizes that Quantum AI, the hero he had known as an AI, was real. Considering roguelike, he wonders if this implies that the system, which purportedly generated endless content, also created 100 million individual worlds. Han contemplates thinking that all the different worlds inside of the game are real in another world, and he wonders if that means that his careless decisions could have led to a hero's death. He then asks Isel if she wants to climb the tower, listen to his words carefully, and since he will allow her to climb it, which excites the fairy. The protagonist admires that Jenna is a genius, and her growth speed cannot be compared to a 1-star. Despite having never handled daggers before, she quickly gets the hang of it. On the other hand, Eren is sluggish, and at this rate, he could end up dying sooner or later. Jenna sarcastically informs Han that she faced Eren while going easy on him, but he still wasn't much. Han urges her to drop her arrogance and follow his lead, prompting Jenna to question what's on his mind and if he won't be instructing his top subordinate today. Out of nowhere, Isel appears, admonishing Jenna and asserting herself as Han's top subordinate, urging Jenna to get lost. Meanwhile, Jenna casually claims that she is Han's #1 subordinate. It infuriates Isel, and she refers to Jenna as a fox-like wench, asking if she knows who Han is, but before she can continue, Han intervenes and grasps the fairy in his hand, asking if she has work to do. While being in Han's hand, Isel sternly yells at Jenna that she is Han's #1 subordinate, so Jenna must keep that in mind. Jenna asks Han what that thing is, but Han remarks there is no need to worry. She is just an idiot. Later, while heading towards the warehouse, Han reminds Isel that she mentioned having the authority to open it, asking her to open the warehouse. Soon, the fairy obeyed his command, and Han took 6 iron